Hi, welcome to Treboom Brewery. My name's John, this is my wife Jane, and we're the brewer owners here.
Our brewery's at Shipton by Benningborough, which is 5 miles north of York, and we are really lucky to have a purpose-built brewery here, which is on the site of an old pig farm.
So come inside and have a look. So there are 4 main ingredients in beer: water, yeast, and this is the malt that we use. We get it from Castleford. It's locally malted, and basically it's barley that's been tricked into germination and then kilned, which stops the process of the enzymes that are in the malt turning the starch into sugar. Mainly we use this one, Maris Otter. It's a very popular malt to use in beers, and this is a pale ale malt, and this has the most enzymatic activity. But to add other different flavours to the beers, we can use some malts like this one. This is pale chocolate, and this has been kilned for a lot longer. And you can see it's much darker, and this gives a very, despite its name, it gives a kind of sort of coffee flavour to the beer. So what we're doing there is just warming the mash tun like it's a big kettle to make sure it's nice and warm before the mash goes in. So the malt's going in now and it's being wet as it's coming down this tube. It's getting pre-wet, so it's already mixed when it gets into the mash tun.
At Treboom Brewery we use dry hops, which are whole hops. Some breweries use pelleted hops, but we prefer to use the whole dried hops. And we use a whole variety of hops from all over the world really. We use quite a lot from Britain, North Down and WGV hops and Bramling Cross hops. So there's a whole variety of hops that we use to create our different flavours. And they're really exciting hops. They're so different, and the different combinations can create so many different flavours. It's endless really, but they are really beautiful. And we have 2 additions of hops to our brews. Sorry, 3 additions. 2 for bittering, and the third, which is quite a large batch of about 5 kilos for aroma.
So that's the first lot of bittering hops going in. We use a live yeast here, so we actually crop yeast from one brew to the next. So it's a continuous culture. And that means is that the yeast that we use has become adapted to our conditions and our recipes, and it's our yeast now. And in fact we have some frozen down in a lab up in Sunderland, so if anything happens to it they can culture it back up and we can get our yeast back. And that actually contributes to the flavour profiles of our beer. Today we've been brewing our session golden ale called Drumbeat, 3.8% beer. It's called a session ale, so the idea is that you could have a few beers and not feel too bad the next day. Along with those we produce another one called Tambourine Man, which is a 3.9% ale. Our best seller is Yorkshire Sparkle, which is a 4% really pale ale with some really lovely citrus flavours, and that is by far our best selling beer. The name Treboom comes from the sound of a drum roll. It was trying to signify that ta-da moment when we decided to start the brewery, which started 2 years ago now, just over 2 years ago. We deliver all over Yorkshire, particularly into York, places like the Golden Ball, the Volunteer. The Dawnay here at Shipton usually has a Treboom beer on. But we get into quite a number of pubs in York and quite a few in Leeds now, and all over, sort of right up to the North York moors.
We hope you've enjoyed your little tour around Treboom Brewery, and we hope when you see the beer in the pubs and the shops, you'll try some. Cheers!
Cheers!